Testing 1, 2, 3. Good morning, everyone. Let's get some things adjusted here. But breaking news: S25 is rolling out of the high bay. I will get you views of S25 here just in a couple moments. Let me give you a quick introduction here about what we're about to see today. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, we're good. We're live. Everything's looking great. Let me make sure my cam 2 is live. We are. Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Rocket Future. I can't believe that there's another day of activity down here at Starbase today. This has just absolutely been insane the last few days. Right now you have live views of full stack, but I'm about to change that camera because S25 is rolling out of the high bay right now. And it seems like it's probably going to roll down Highway 4 towards the launch site today. Pretty unexpected. I thought they were going to kind of leave the launch site clear just for upcoming full stack testing. To me, it seems like maybe they would want to keep any other Starships or boosters kind of safe, especially if they're doing a 33 engine static fire and that type of stuff down at the launch site. But no, right now S25 is rolling. So before I get any further, let me change the cameras for you. And I'm actually going to completely get rid of this camera that we're looking at right here. I'm going to put it in the Jeep because I want to try something a little bit different today. Now, I don't know how this is going to work. It might fail dramatically, but it's something new to try. But I'm going to try to literally see if we can get behind the ship as it's rolling down Highway 4. Whether they let us do that or not is about 50-50. But I'm going to get going on that right now. Things are moving quick. All right, folks, I have no idea how this is going to work or if it's going to work, but we're going to give this our best shot. S25 should be making its appearance on the left-hand side of the screen any moment now. And we'll see if they let us follow it in. If not, I'll make some adjustments. Also, I am recording this right now. If in the event they allow us to follow this down Highway 4, I don't know how Starlink is going to handle the movement. I think it'll be all right, but if we lose signal and the stream drops, it is what it is. This is kind of an experimental thing that I'm doing here today. But I'll make sure I have the footage for everybody after the fact. But hopefully we'll be able to keep signal the whole time. If you're just joining us, we have live views of Starship S25. We're going to see how the road closure works. Occasionally, about, I don't know, the last couple times, we've seen them allow people to kind of drive at a safe distance behind it as it's rolling down Highway 4. So that's our goal here. And if they don't allow us to do that, that is A-okay. In that event, I'll just pull over and adjust the cameras, and we'll get our rollout views that we usually have. Jonathan, thanks for the comment. This is not by any means a competition. We're all out here to try to get our best content, and each give ourselves a different, give everybody a different perspective. It looks like we're probably going to be able to roll behind this, folks, unless this black pickup truck completely blocks us. But I think we're going to be following S24 down Highway 4 here. So, again, in the event that we lose connection, I am recording this, and I'll get this up on my social media platforms. But so far, it looks like we're okay. I just don't know if we're going to completely lose signal or not. All right, at this point forward, I am driving, so I'm not going to be looking at any comments or anything along those lines. I'm just going to be driving safely. But if occasionally you want to just drop a message in chat letting me know if our view is still live. Guys, I'm having one of those moments where I'm just like, what the fuck? Excuse my French, but I'm just having one of those moments being like, where am I and what am I doing and why is this allowed? This is insanity. This is nuts. How fast does the crawler move? Well, right now we're moving about, I want to say 2 miles an hour. One mile an hour, actually. I am just passing the mid-bay, and I'll be passing some of the tents that are set up at the Starbase build site. And I'll keep you updated along the route, where we are on the road. It's actually a gorgeous morning here at Starbase today. It is exactly 53 degrees out with a nice cool breeze. So it's a little chilly, but after living down here for 8 months or 9 months, however long it's been, a nice chilly morning feels really good. Really quite good. Yeah, we're moving at about 2 miles per hour, I think, right now. I see some activity over there in the chat, but like I said, I'm not really paying attention to the chat because I want to safely make sure that we're driving here. But I do want to say thank you for stopping by on today's stream. We are rolling right behind Starship S25 towards the launch site from the Starbase build site. Just fingers are continuously crossed that Starlink isn't going to be angry with me rolling down the road here trying to maintain its connections with satellites. So if we drop from time to time, that's just kind of the reality of it. How's it going? How's it going? We are now passing gate B4 at Starbase, and we're almost to where they have the big antennas, or what a lot of people will call the satellite dishes. I'm just realizing next time I do this, I can show you all my location. So that's an improvement I can make for next time. I will have a little picture-in-picture display that has a Google Maps up that shows the exact location on the road we are, but that'll have to be for next time. I'm gonna tell you, I was 50-50 on trying this today. I was really heavily leaning towards just going down to the launch site and doing our usual arrival stream from the launch site. So basically we would just be hanging out in front of the gate there, down there at the launch site, and we would have views of Starship 24 approaching and going into those gates. But I was hemming and hawing about whether or not I wanted to try something new today and kind of risk there being, technical issues or failures, or maybe they weren't going to allow us to actually drive behind it today. But I'm really glad I tried it out. Anytime I get a desire to kind of test something new or try something different, I'm going to try to take those opportunities. And occasionally that might mean we have a stream that's a little scuffed or, a little bit wonky. But I think that's all part of the adventure of trying to do something new and different and get new perspectives on all of the stuff that's happening down here. I'm definitely not the first person to do this. I know last rollout was at Booster 9. folks were able to walk behind it, got some great pictures. Some of the guys from Rocket Ranch and some of the NASA spaceflight people were riding behind it. So obviously I'm kind of inspired by what they did. Not saying that this is a novel idea, but I'm happy that I tried it out. We are slowly approaching the Mars bar. So this is one of the turns along the way. So generally speaking, I think this will be a little bit slower. And I think sometimes they allow traffic to pass. I think they sometimes pull into the Mars bar up here and allow traffic to pass. So if they're doing that today, I'll have to make sure I kind of pull over to the side of the road and then get back on the road when it's rolling. While we are stopped, I'm going to check out what we got going on. Sam says, let's go. Brandon said, it's amazing how fast this thing moves. Welcome, Sam. Welcome, Brandon. Vic says, coolest views out there right now. Oh, thank you, Vix. I appreciate that. Brandon, is there any distracted driving laws in Texas? I'm sure there is. That's why anytime that we're moving, I'm currently in park, and anytime we're moving, I won't be looking at chat. Is the ship shaking a bit, or is it only the camera? Probably just the camera. It's probably just picking up the vibrations from the Jeep, just like the engine running and everything. And we are rolling again, so I will no longer be looking at chat for a few. S25 has its flaps still tied up. They are not extended. I think a couple times we've seen a ship roll with its flaps extended, if I'm not mistaken. There is a liquid oxygen truck passing me coming from the launch site, so either they just they may have just filled up down at the launch site, or dropped off down at the launch site, or they turned around because of the rollout. I'm not sure. You should be able to see one of the folks that are walking behind Ship 25 right now. He's probably just about to go out of view. But that'll give you a little bit of scale of how big this thing is compared to a human. And after we make this turn here, you will also have a view of the launch tower and full stack, although the launch tower will be kind of blocking full stack, but you'll be able to get the idea. I'm having a blast. Just going to say that. I'm just going to put that out there. This is insane. I kind of want to have an AI run through all of my live streams and pick out the words that I use the most. I would imagine I use the word insane almost as much as I use the word Starbase or Starship. We are up to 4 miles per hour, but we did drop back a little bit, so we might be doing a little catching up. Just about to pass the Mars bar on the left-hand side. You'll notice in just a couple minutes there is a overhang above the Mars bar, made out of fins or wing or flaps, whatever you want to call them, ailerons, from which Starship was it? I kind of forget. It was Mark 1 or one of the first mock-ups of Starship. If anybody remembers what Starship those flaps came from that are creating an overhang in front of Mars bar, let us know in the chat. MK1, I think. Mark 1. If I remember right. Alright, so as I'm looking at Ship 25, I'm kind of going to go from the bottom to the top to see if I see any differences. And it really will be hard to see any without a side-by-side of like Ship 24 or anything. But starting from the bottom, I do see all those lines that are running to the base of the vehicle. And then just some... What's the word for that? My brain's not working this morning. It's still early for me, and I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. But you got that runway up the side of the vehicle that has like the lines. Dang, what the heck is the term for that? If anybody knows that, drop that in the chat too. You'll see it on a lot of rockets. There'll be just like a little pipe that runs up the side of the vehicle. Sometimes they'll carry cables. Sometimes they're actually involved with the flight termination system. And I just can't recall the word that I'm looking for there. But then I see some areas that will be for venting. Going up towards the top of the vehicle, we have those 6 black dots, which I think are theorized to be some sort of antenna or cameras or something along those lines. Yeah, honestly, there's not like a lot of major differences that I'm seeing. But again, if you were to put Ship 25 and Ship 24 side by side, I'm sure you'd be able to pick out some more differences. I see a running Nick from NASA Spaceflight. I also see a Starbase surfer. Who else is out here? I also see an ocean cam. All right. I am putting it in park for a moment here. Sam says raceway. Correct. That is what I'm thinking of. Raceway. How many cars are behind me? I can't really tell, to be honest with you, but not that many. 1 or 2 at most. 1 or 2 at most. All right, we are back moving, no longer looking at the chat. But now you should have a great view of full stack and the launch tower off the right-hand side of Ship 25. Quite the perspective here. And if you want to just let me know in the chat if my video is dropped out at all or if it's been perfectly fine, why don't you rate it from 1 to 5? Rate it a 1 if it's dropping out all the time. Rate it a 5 if it hasn't dropped out at all. I'm just curious as a little bit of a test here. if Starlink can kind of handle me driving 2 miles at a slow pace. I'll take a moment just for some of the usual stuff that you hear all the people that are on YouTube say. If you're new to the channel, I would very much appreciate a subscribe. Turn that notification on if you want to be notified of events like this in the future. Again, you always hear these things, but it really does help the channel. And the more people interacting with the channel, the more people get to find out about the channel. It's kind of how the YouTube algorithm works, at least based on what people know. Nobody really knows exactly how the YouTube algorithm works, but it seems like the more interaction the stream has, the more people the stream will be recommended to. And there could be folks like you that are out there that don't know that they have a passion for space yet, and maybe they will be recommended this stream. And I'm pretty sure I just heard a gunshot. Nothing of concern. Way to the north of me. Maybe some hunting or something. But yeah. Anyway, the more somebody might discover their passion for spaceflight from these streams. So I appreciate all the support. You just being here and hanging out and watching with us helps us a lot. Also, chatting. Anybody who's hanging out here chatting, that helps us a lot. But your support is just super appreciated. We're also on all of the other social media platforms. Pretty much on everything. We're at The Rocket Future. The Rocket Future. And if you forget that, you can just go to our website, rocketfuture.org, and you'll see all of the links to all of our social medias, including Patreon. We send a monthly postcard from Starbase with some Starbase photography on it every month. So if you are a patron, December postcards should be going out, or they should already be on their way. So keep an eye out for your December postcards, probably sometime next week. But yeah, that's it with the self promo stuff. But thank you guys so much for all the support. Someday I'll get a little bit more natural talking about this stuff, but it still feels weird. There's some more what sounds like gunshots to the north. Again, plenty of land out here. I'm sure that somebody's hunting. There's a ton of wildlife out here. Not too sure. This is a nature preserve. I don't really know if you can hunt on a nature preserve. Not something I've heard out here before. Kind of interesting, to be honest. I'd say we're more than halfway at this point, and the rest of the road is fairly straight. There is one more turn after this, but we are getting there. Let's see, it's 8:25 Central Time now. I'd say we'd definitely be there within the half hour, probably shorter, 15 minutes maybe, but hard to say exactly. I wish I could zoom it a little bit for you, but we're just going to keep rolling here. And I'm sure you might notice we're just broadcasting in 720p right now. So this is not full HD. It's definitely not 4K. That's just based on kind of limitations of Starlink at the moment. But someday, one of two things could happen. Starlink could continue to improve, and we could start bumping up to 1080p. Or there could be some better cell signal down here at Starbase. Where we could switch over to mobile data and get you 1080 at least. However, that being said, yesterday we tested our new connection type over at Isablanca Park. So that's the location that you'll see our streams for static fires, cryo tests, and eventually on launch day. And the connectivity worked pretty good, the new connection type, and we were able to broadcast in 1080p yesterday from Isablanca Park, which is awesome. It wasn't as stable as I was hoping, but it was pretty good. So I think we'll be able to work with that moving forward. But yeah, out here at Starbase proper, we're just going to be working with 720 for now, but it is what it is, and I think it's good enough to get you the content. It doesn't need to be beautiful, as long as you can clearly see what's going on. To kind of give you a picture into what it's like to see these things. That's my goal. So, but every stream is an improvement. We're starting to figure some stuff out. I think we're making progress, and that's only because you folks are tuning in and watching and giving me a lot of motivation to come out here and do these things. So thanks again. This is quite the beautiful sight here right now. I'm seeing some lifts up on the orbital launch mount, so they're working on the OLM today. Okay, throwing it in park for a second. All right, let's see what we got going on. Hello, Henriette. Jonathan says, amazing stream, thank you. Vix had shared me on Twitter. Thank you so much, Vix. I appreciate that so much. That helps us so much, and we appreciate that. I'm seeing a lot of 4s and 5s as far as the rating of whether or not we're dropping out or not, so that's great. Only noticed 2 moments where it dropped out. Frame rate more like 20 now. That is something that we'll definitely be able to handle. That's good enough for now. Some dropouts, but still 4 to 5. Makes sense. Thank you. Somebody says, explain payload in Ship 25. Some super clear compared to anything else we have available. Oh, awesome. All right, I am now out of park, so we are no longer looking at chat. But I did see a request to talk about the payload in Ship 25. So it's hard to see, especially from this angle. But more than halfway up the top of Ship 25, there is a section that looks a little bit different, and it is facing us. And that would be the payload bay door. The payload bay door, I think, is kind of designed to be able to eventually spit out Starlink satellites, version 2 Starlink satellites. And, eventually when Starship keeps progressing, there'll be bigger and bigger payload doors until it can deploy massive payloads. However, with Ship 25, it does not look like there is any payload as far as I have seen. And actually, it looks like they've welded shut the payload bay doors. And when I say payload bay doors, it's literally just a slit in the side of Ship 24 or 25 and 24. But yeah, it's been welded shut. So to my knowledge, unless I miss something, I don't think there's any payload inside of Ship 25. And the same goes for S24 actually. There was some theorizing that SpaceX would be putting some Starlink satellites in these just to, be able to test a real payload on their first orbital attempt. But of course, now we know that their first orbital attempt may not actually get into a usable orbit, and may be more like an orbital velocity, but not an actual orbital inclination. So no real payloads for S24 or S25 based on what I know. We are very quickly, or I don't know, kind of slowly, but also quickly approaching the launch site. It's a very clear day. There's a little bit of a low haze layer, but I'm looking to my left right now, which is to the north, and there is a pretty good view of South Padre Island. If you ever come down here to visit at Starbase, definitely stop by South Padre Island. They got some really nice beaches. Definitely nicer beaches when it's warmer out. They do a lot of maintenance on them. This time of the year, the beaches get a little bit less maintained, not as beautiful. Still great, but definitely check out South Padre Island. There's some cool stuff to see, some cool stuff to do, especially if you kind of like the bar scene. A lot of bars, a lot of restaurants, and obviously come down to Starbase and see all this for yourself. These are amazing days to be at Starbase because there's so much activity happening. But even if there's nothing much going on, just coming down to see everything with your own eyes is absolutely unreal. And if you do, shoot me a message. Let me know that you're coming down. Seems like we're being kept a little bit further behind than we were earlier, but that is perfectly okay. I know that their top priority is safety for everybody involved. For the SpaceX employees, for I know the sheriff is involved. For just random folks like me, I know that their top priority is safety. So I'd like to be a little bit closer to Ship 25 as it's rolling down. But we got some really, really close views earlier, so I don't mind at all that they're kind of keeping us a little bit further back, especially where it's going to make this turn up here. So, here's the plan for the rest of the stream. We're obviously going to continue to follow Ship 25 until it arrives at the launch site. Then I will park. We're going to keep the stream rolling. I'm going to get my second camera up, and we'll give a little bit of debrief of what we just saw. And we'll take a look and see if there's any indication that Ship 25 might be lifted onto the suborbital mount or something. At some point, I will call it a day at some point. I'm not going to spend all day down here at Starbase just because it's been a long week, and I don't think Starbase is slowing down anytime soon. So if I get some time to kind of relax later and work on some videos, I'm going to take the time to do that later, but we're going to hang out for a bit after we arrive here at the launch site. So don't go anywhere once we get there. I'll have some great views of full stack, as well as if they're hooking up the crane to Ship 25. If they're doing some work on the OLM, depending on which side, we might get some views of that. So let's see what SpaceX brings us in the next half hour or so. We're approaching the final turn of the rollout, with the exception, obviously, of the turn to make it into the launch site. But yeah, we're kind of coming to the end of the last straightaway, and then we got a short right-hand turn, and then we'll be on the final road. There are some mosquitoes, which is unfortunate. The mosquitoes down here in the last few weeks have been really bad. They have been spraying, which, I mean, I assume helps to a certain extent, but they're bad. They are bad. As you can see, we have the sheriff in the left-hand lane, as well as the vehicle in front of us, which I don't know if it's an official, police vehicle or sheriff or anything. I don't know if it's just a SpaceX vehicle. Not entirely sure. But they are doing a great job at keeping us all at a safe distance. Gonna try to slowly... Yeah, there we go. That should be a good angle. You should be able to see the base of the vehicle now. And of course, Ship 25 is being transported between the build site to the launch site on an SPMT, or a self-propelled modular transporter. This is basically a giant, think of like a giant flatbed truck with dozens and dozens of wheels. And the wheels turn independently. So when it's turning in a tight space, rather than just the front wheels turning, all of the wheels turn to be able to make the turn. Definitely like kind of zero radius turn type of stuff. They load up the SPMT with a lot of counterweights to weigh it down, to lower that center of gravity, to make sure that there's no chance of the ship, or occasionally when they're moving the booster, making sure there's no chance of something tipping over. Of course, these are very large, very heavy vehicles, but when they're empty, you may be able to kind of get an idea of what it's like to roll one of these things down the road. If you think of like a tall can, like a tall beer can or a tall Red Bull can, and holding that from the bottom, as long as you have a really good grip on the bottom while it's empty, it's not too hard to keep it upright. Obviously, that's oversimplification, but a lot of people kind of are concerned about the way they move these up and down the road. And while I think it's really important to make sure that they're doing it safely, I think they got it under control for sure. Ship 25 is now making the last turn onto the road. Well, we're all on the same road, but the last turn of Highway 4, and then it's got a straightaway, and then it'll turn into the launch facility. Just about to come out of view is the launch tower on the right, and then you can see the orbital tank farm, and then the suborbital tank farm as well as the suborbital pads. You can see Starhopper, also known as Hoppy, sticking out right in the center of the suborbital tank farm. And then, of course, we have Ship 25 almost now arriving at the Starbase launch facility down here in Boca Chica, Texas. Right now, we're probably about 1.5 miles, 2 miles away from the Mexico border. If you have a capable vehicle, if I was to keep driving a few hundred feet just past the launch facility here, I would get to Boca Chica Beach, and you can take a right on Boca Chica Beach and actually drive down to the Mexico border, which is quite a cool experience. We do look like we have a crane here positioned near the suborbital infrastructure, but I don't see that the crane has the squid or the octopus or whatever we're calling it nowadays. So I don't expect to see a crane hook up to Ship 24 immediately. But they could get what they need to get done pretty quickly. I do see some folks working on what looks like suborbital pad. Oh dang, is A or B? Which one's closer to the road, suborbital pad A or suborbital pad B? But it looks like they're working on the one that's further away from the road, further back, if you will. They got a crew up there on a lift. Ship 25 is now on the final straightaway to the launch site. Pretty soon it'll take a right into the entrance to the launch facility. And when I make the same turn in just a few moments here, depending on the angle of the camera, you might be able to see the full stack pretty well. But if not, I should be parking in just about 5, maybe 10 minutes at the most, and giving you a great view of the full stack and of Ship 25 and anything you want to see. I'll try to find a good parking space that we'll be able to see everything, which is kind of tough nowadays with the fencing and everything that they've put up along the front edge of the facility. There's only a couple places where you get a really good view of the OLM. One of which is down at the beach entrance. So maybe I'll go down to the beach entrance. I'm also noticing some vapors coming from the suborbital tank farm. Nothing crazy, but definitely some sort of activity. You also get a great view of Hoppy. Okay, so Ship 25 has arrived at the launch facility. It is now about to make its right-hand turn into the gate. And the mosquitoes are even crazier down here near the beach. I am being mobbed by a bunch of mosquitoes. You may be able to hear the suborbital tank farm here in a moment. Not sure if it'll be loud enough for you to actually hear it, but some venting going on. Okay, I've placed my vehicle in park here for a second, so I'll take a look at chat. Dave Roberts, welcome, Dave. Happy birthday again. Hope you had a good rest of your night last night. Vic says, if I ever make it over there, I'll walk that beach to the border just to say I did. It's a quite a long walk, Vix. It's definitely doable, but it is a long walk. But hey, if you ever see me in my Jeep, flag me down and I'll give you a quick ride up. I'll give you a quick ride up there. Vix also says, everyone click the thumbs up, right? Oh, Vix, that would be awesome if everybody could click that thumbs up. Again, that helps. I think it helps with the YouTube algorithm, and more people will see the stream and learn about spaceflight and rockets and Starbase. I would appreciate that so much. And Vic says, I hear it. The road is banked a little bit here to the right, so we're at a bit of an angle, but once we get rolling here shortly, everything should straighten out. And while we're in park, I might actually be able to give you a little bit of a zoom here. Dave is asking, does Ship 25 have the new electric Raptor gimbal installed? Actually, great question, Dave. I'm not sure. But I've been seeing them do a lot of gimbal testing out at McGregor, and some of those gimbals are nuts. It's actually insane how capable it all is. Oh, Vix, no problem at all. No problem at all. Hoppy, meet Ship 25. I guess Ship 25 has been down here before, but Hoppy and Ship 25 are having a reunion. Okay, we are now out of park. No longer looking at chat until we're parked. Okay, pretty soon here the roadblock is going to completely be removed. So I'll get into a parking space as quickly as I can, and we'll continue our coverage. So while that happens, you might have a terrible view for just, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes. Vicky says, amazing. Watching with my niece, history in the making. Oh, Vicky, I really appreciate you sharing this with your niece. I want to see as many people get interested in this stuff as possible. And there's a chance your niece is going to be the generation that eventually goes to space. Or, we've been to space. To Mars. And this very vehicle might be the one that brings us there. Dave says, sorry we didn't save you any donuts from Starship cake. Oh, no worries, Dave. I had my share last night. It was my friend Dave's birthday here last night, and all of our new friend, a very good friend of ours now, made Dave an absolutely amazing Starship cake. The bottom of it was this big ring that represented the orbital launch mount, and then on top of the orbital launch mount was Starship, fully stacked out of, I think it was 12 or 15 donuts, and wrapped in foil. And at one point, it was cut in half, stage separation, and it was pretty crazy. We almost lit the place on fire accidentally, but all is good. Dave says, sun looks awesome behind the stack. It does, doesn't it? Just waiting for them to clear this roadblock. I'm actually surprised it hasn't yet. Rob says, wish I was there. Color me intrigued. Generally speaking, the roadblock would have cleared by now. Ship 25 is well into the launch site. But they still got the vehicles out. Okay, now there's probably about at least 12 vehicles behind me, if not 24. I'm still in park, so I will do a quick pan so you can see what's going on behind me. And I'll pan back because I don't want to be invading anybody's privacy in their vehicle. I honestly have no idea why we are still in a roadblock situation here. Vix, you see a tanker? Oh, when I panned back, yeah, there was a tanker behind me. Okay, the emergency vehicle lights have been off. It looks like the road closure is lifting. So, I'll be driving to a parking space here in a minute. We're going to have all sorts of crazy camera views while I try to park. And we're rolling. A successful rollout of Ship 25 from the Starbase build site to the Starbase launch site. Where to park? Where to park? I'll tell you what, I'm going to go over by the beach for a solid minute or two. Not sure if OBS will successfully connect me back to the same stream, but if you can see and hear me, let me know in the chat. All right, good news. Y'all can hear me, y'all can see me, we're back. I'm setting up my second camera, so give me 3 minutes. Give me 3 minutes to get my camera set up. All right. Second camera is almost set up. We're definitely going through a couple Starlink handoffs, a couple big dropouts, but now that we are stationary in one place, hypothetically that should all stabilize out in the next couple minutes. I need to get my microphone here on an extension. So just continuing to work towards getting this second camera up. So just continue to give me a few more moments. Let me get you some audio from outside here in the meantime. Okay, second camera is up. All right. So let me make sure this is actually a live camera feed, which it is. Okay. So that was awesome. Thanks everybody for hanging out. My name is Andrew and this is Rocket Future. Today we're bringing you live views from Starbase down here at Boca Chica, Texas. We're at the launch site right now. We just had absolutely beautiful views of Ship 25 rolling from the build site down here to the launch site. Now Ship 25 is kind of out of view here, but I am keeping an eye on it from the other side of the road. If anything exciting happens with Ship 25, I'll move our cameras around so we can see what's going on with that. But now that we're down here at the launch site, I did want to bring you views of full stack, and at the moment I am noticing something really cool that you guys might want to see. Let me make some camera adjustments. We have a beautiful shot of the moon above Ship 24. Now we know Ship 24 won't be going to the moon, but Ship 24 is paving the way for Starship's access to the moon and Mars and beyond. So that's pretty cool right there. Just wanted to show you that real quick. Let's get a nice view here of the full stack. So yeah, let's see. I'm just kind of panning around Starbase, seeing what activity I see. There's some folks coming down the stairs of the orbital launch mount. I'm keeping an eye on Ship 25. But it's a nice day down here. It's not too busy. Let me check in with the chat here. So when my chat let's see, let me get that angled a little better. Okay. When Starlink dropped, I actually lost my chat feed. So let me pull that up right now on my phone so I can see if anybody has any questions or anything. All right. Rob says, see you. Vic says, you're back. Thumbs up from Vic's, 5 out of 5 from Cornwall, UK. Thank you, Vicky. Laszlo says, I can hear you. And El Hungaro says, cool. Space Cosmos says, hi, friends. Well, thanks, everybody, and welcome. Again, my name is Andrew. We just got a great view of Ship 25 driving down Highway 4 from the build site to the launch site down here at Starbase, Texas. Yeah, so I don't really know what the rest of the day has in store for us, but we're just gonna hang out here just for, I don't know, at least a few minutes, just kind of debrief on what we just saw with Ship 25. Anybody has any questions, let me know, and I'll just keep an eye out to see what other activity we can kind of get a view of today. A lot of folks down here coming out to see what's going on at Starbase. It's always really good to see. The amount of people that are coming down every day is really just increasing at an insane rate. And it's really great to see everybody excited about what's happening down here. If you caught the stream, what was it, yesterday? All the days are blurring together. At Isablanca Park, there was probably, 50 people coming over asking all about Starship and everything. So it's great to see. It's an exciting time down here. I've never felt the energy. I've only been down here 8 or 9 months, so I did miss all the hop tests and all that stuff. But in these 8 or 9 months, I've never felt the energy that we're feeling down here at Starbase today. So really, really cool stuff. Full stack is looking absolutely beautiful with a great sight of the moon just above full stack. Booster 7 went through some propellant load yesterday, LOX and some methane likely. Obviously from the outside I'm not seeing any difference with the vehicle, so hopefully that was a successful test yesterday. We could be seeing some more tests like that this week or this upcoming week, and eventually we might see Ship 24 destacked, and maybe we'll get another big static fire from Booster 7 here. So we're excited. We're excited. I must say, I appreciate all the support from everybody here. Heather says, yay, thanks for live coverage. Absolutely, Heather. Thank you for being here. Get on the radio, Hungaro says. I don't know about that, but I appreciate it. Rocker, welcome. TT says, launch when? The question is, when will this thing launch? That is a question, and there's a couple big milestones that have to be accomplished before we can put a date on it. SpaceX had recently retweeted a message that stated maybe towards the end of February or early March they could be looking at launch. But of course that's only if everything goes perfectly well. For any reason, if there's any problems with any of the tests, that could be extended by days, weeks, or if something happens, it could be extended by months. So we're going to hope that doesn't happen. We're going to hope that they are able to do a full fill of Ship 24 and Booster 7 with liquid oxygen and methane. See this thing get nice and frosty. Check that off. Take Ship 24 off of Booster 7. Do a 33 engine static fire on Booster 7. Restack everything. A couple things on the top that need to be removed from Ship 24. Restack it. Wet dress rehearsal. So basically, they're going to do a test that will mimic a real launch countdown until they get to T-0, but they won't actually launch. And that just makes sure that they have the process down and that the fueling and everything looks good. It's basically a mock launch day. So as long as all of those things I just stated go really well, then we'll see a launch day. There is an FAA launch license that needs to be signed off on as well. So hopefully that won't be a delay. I don't expect it to be much of a delay, if any. But yeah. Give me 30 seconds here. I'm going to go check on what Ship 25 is doing. Greetings from Florida. All check systems 2-month check. I hope so. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I just wanted to get my eyes on Ship 25, making sure it wasn't imminent for a lift. The crane isn't near Ship 25, so I just jogged back here, so I'm out of breath. So yeah, Ship 25, whether it gets lifted onto one of the suborbital pads or when, not sure. Could happen today, but it doesn't look like anything that's going to be happening in the next few minutes. Let's get a pan of our full stack here. So, we're looking at the orbital launch mount right now. There was some folks working on it just a little while ago. Not seeing a lot of activity right now. We're looking at Booster 7. Booster 7 continues to look great after its testing yesterday. And of course, we have the ship quick disconnect arm and the interface between the ship and booster. So this is Booster 7 and Ship 24. We got the heat shield tiles that will protect Ship 24 when it comes back down through the atmosphere. We got the chopsticks, which are kind of stabilizing Ship 24 on top of Booster 7. Those chopsticks, those big black arms that come off of that launch tower, are actually the tools that lift the booster onto the pad, and those are what lifted Ship onto the booster. And we got the top of the launch tower here, and a beautiful view of that moon again. Absolutely gorgeous. Right above the tip of Ship 24. Space Cosmos says nice on the beach of Boca Chica. Right? Yep, we're right next to Boca Chica Beach. Vic says the ship Squid hasn't arrived yet, so that is a good indication that Ship 25 will not be lifted imminently. Maybe still at some point. Roker says big project is launch rocket. No Squiddy, no lifty, says Vix. That is 100% true. All right, so what I think this means. Let me get back to my other scene here. I'm going to do a little bit of a debriefing with y'all right here, right now. So, before I start, I just pulled a cable. Let me make sure everything's still plugged in. You can hear me, you can see me. Yep, okay. Now's your time if you have any questions, to drop those in the chat. We're going to probably wrap things down here slowly for the stream. I'd say just a minute or two, we'll wrap things up. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop those in the chat. I don't see anything super imminent happening right now. So I want to make sure I take some time today to go through all of the stuff that we've had happen in the last few days here at Starbase, organize everything, maybe make some videos and stuff. So I don't want to spend all morning here, although I guess I've already spent all morning here. So we're going to begin the outro. So for those who have joined here today, thank you so much. Again, beautiful rollout of Ship 24 down here to the launch site. It was quite the experience. It was so much fun, to be honest with you. The support today on the stream is honestly so amazing. And genuinely, thank you so much for tuning in. It means the absolute world to me. The whole idea of me coming out and doing these things are to share these experiences with the folks that can't actually be down here in person. And I want to get people excited about these things. Space, as you guys probably know, is kind of a divisive, if that's the right word, topic nowadays. And there's some controversy around it. And I believe that, personally, space is something that's really important for us as a species, and these projects help us continue to move forward. But even if you are not pro-space, I'm hoping my content will still allow you to understand what's happening down here, and that will allow you to form your opinion. And if the opinion is the opposite of mine, that's okay too. But this has just been such an amazing stream. If you want to catch more streams like this, there'll be plenty more. So please go ahead and subscribe and click the notification bell. Do all those things. Liking the stream, commenting, or even just hanging out here and watching helps us build this channel and helps more folks like you learn about this channel. And hopefully we can inspire some people by what's happening down here at Starbase. So I really can't say thanks enough. I'll never be able to put it into words. I'm going to check the chat for some final questions. Jody says, good morning from Los Fresnos. We're going to drive over this morning, but might wait in case they close the road for a bit. Jody, I think any of the road closures for the day will be done now. So if you were going to head over here today, I'd say it's probably a good day to do it. There's a little bit of mosquitoes out here. Bring some bug spray. But it's actually gorgeous down here right now. No, I don't think there's going to be any more road closures today. Andrew Paris says, greetings from Honolulu. Hello, Titan. Welcome. Hope your trip in Hawaii is going well. I know that's a lot of work, so keep on keeping on. Jonathan says, thanks for the amazing stream. Rob says, great stream. And Rocker says, yes, that's a very big job for the future. All right, so that's it. That's it, folks. Thank you so much for hanging out. Rocketfuture.org. That's where you can find the links to all the social medias. Twitter, we're probably most active on Twitter, but we're all over the place. We're building all the platforms, or we're trying to. Rocketfuture.org. Thank you guys so much. You know, I think that's it for today. I'll leave you with another minute of some full stack footage here. But that's all I got for today. Thank you so much for hanging out. We'll see you next time, and peace out.